Hey YouTube, how are you doing? Apparently I'm live. I'm hoping this works. It's my first time doing a live stream with a little bit of a setup here with video and audio. It took a little bit of a while to tweak settings and stuff, so I'm hoping there's no delay or not much of an annoying delay between uh, my voice and the video there too. Just wanted to test out this setup and see if it works. I'm actually streaming live through my Nikon Z6, so fingers crossed that this is a little bit of an upgrade compared to the usual built-in webcam sort of video quality there. Let's see. I really just want to give you a little update, and if this goes well, maybe I can plan to do a few more of these in the future every now and then. Just back from a little extended long weekend there in Banff National Park last weekend with my wife and our puppy Ripley. We were out at a little place called Castle Mountain that's right in between the actual town or village of Banff and Lake Louise. It was a great little place to be, to check out and explore. It was definitely a winter wonderland out there. We had like minus 20-degree temperatures at times. It was a little bit challenging, but got to see some cool like ice fog rising off the Bow River that flows down out of the mountains into Calgary there. And yeah, having just been on the prairies here for the last year, it was pretty cool to check out and see some breathtaking mountain scenery like that. Got back home here to Battleford, and yeah, it's been kind of above zero for the last little while, so things are melting, things are slushy. Who knows if winter's actually coming or not? But yeah, just wanted to check in with you here from the home studio in Battleford, Saskatchewan. A little November update for you. And if I look back to the start of the month, actually, I was in Saskatoon for a conference. I think I shared that news here or on a couple other social media channels too. It was a weekend conference hosted by the Professional Photographers of Canada that I'm a member of, and they had invited me to give a little talk on wildlife photography. I took the opportunity to kind of expand upon that theme a little bit and spoke about purpose-driven, purpose-oriented photography, and got to share the story of my 2018 trip into the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge with the International League of Conservation Photographers. And yeah, just talked a little bit about, that difference between maybe what might make a great wildlife photograph or a landscape photograph and what makes for a great conservation image, and what that difference is. It really boils down to how you're using the image and the stories that you're telling with it as well too. So those technical things don't necessarily matter so much in terms of the value of the image from a conservation standpoint if you're able to tell a greater story with it. And later that evening was able to deliver kind of a shorter, punchier, and perhaps a little bit more inspired presentation because we were out at the pub, and did a little bit of a variation on that theme as well too. And understanding my background is in psychology actually, and was able to try to put together a little presentation for people that was revealing a little bit of a hidden superpower that photographers have. Most people are actually visual learners, visual communicators, and we also know that humans generally make decisions based on emotions, or emotions can play a large part in affecting our decision making. So I was kind of tying that back to the purpose-oriented photography topic that I delivered a presentation on earlier in the day, and kind of said that whatever you or whatever your passion is as a photographer, you've got a special skill set if there's something that you care about in this world. Like for me, that's protecting the wild places and wild species. We know there's so many threats right now, from climate change, all the way down to biodiversity loss. And don't want this to be a depressing video, but again, that presentation was very much about finding your inner superpower to harness that to work for making change that you'd like to see in the world. And let's see. Oh yeah, also on that weekend there too, I kind of revealed a new partnership that I've developed with the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society. Went to their office in Saskatoon there a few weeks before that presentation, and just hit it off with them. And I think it's great when you find, when you know what your core values are, or your vision as a photographer. If you can find other photographers or people, organizations, clients that share those same values too. I think there's just so much power there in partnering with them and leveraging each other's skills, experience, creativity, network, all that stuff. I just hit it off so well with the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society, and wasn't able to reveal at that time, but now I'm so excited. I've got a 2020 calendar that I'm actually partnering with CPAWS, the Parks and Wilderness Society Saskatchewan chapter, partnering with them for my 2020 calendar. And I think as creative people, we're used to creating art, creating images, and getting feedback on that. But sometimes we don't have that business mindset, or it's sometimes awkward to try to sell something or saying, hey, do you want to buy my art? That's always such a personal thing. But I think, for example, with this one, when I'm partnering with CPAWS, Parks and Wilderness Society, that's something that's made it easy for me to say, check this calendar out, hit up my website, go check it out, www.mattjakes.com. Top right corner, there should be a button shop, or I'll put a little link in the description here too. Share this video after the live broadcast, and giving 15% of proceeds, all proceeds for all sales for this calendar, shipping across Canada, shipping international, wherever you are. I'd love to get this into your hands, because I know that ultimately those funds are going to go back to making a difference right here in my backyard for the wilderness, the wild places and species of Saskatchewan. CPAWS does some great work, and I'm really excited to be partnering with them. And let's see, what else have we got here? I don't want to have too much of a non sequitur for you, but how about this? I've borrowed the Nikon 300mm f2.8, and I promise this is going to tie back too. But this is a little bit of a special, pricey lens for Nikon. It's kind of their go-to lens for sports and wildlife photographers. Gets used in the Olympics, all that sort of stuff. It's got great reach, but the reach isn't the whole story. It really is about that aperture and the tremendous light gathering abilities, the great autofocus speed of this too. And I think if there's any other photographers watching, I just want to give a little hands-on look there, so you can check it out. I'm also going to be working with my buddy Dan over at Shutter Muse there. I'm going to deliver a initial kind of hands-on review like this, and a more in-depth review later on, so you can stay tuned for that. But while I've got you here, I just wanted to share kind of what that looks like and how it might compare to another lens in my arsenal anyways. And that's the mighty 200 to 500mm. And I mean, check that out. They're actually very, very similar in terms of their physical dimensions, or their spatial dimensions anyways. But wow, the 300-2.8 is definitely a whole other type of beast there. It's got that solid metal construction. It's just a whole different, I'll have to get the numbers up there for you maybe, but it's definitely, at least another pound or so heavier. It's solid. It's definitely hand holdable. But my goodness, if you're going to go out for a longer adventure, it's not quite something that's as easy to sling over your shoulder. And I'd want a tripod or a monopod if I was going to be shooting this regularly. I think one thing that I had read some critiques from others too that I did notice right away is that when you're holding this lens and you're kind of hand holding it rather comfortably, kind of the natural place where, for me and maybe many others, where your hands are going to fall on the lens, unfortunately just happens to be right where the focus ring is. So the focus ring isn't out there. That's just a rubber grip. But in here, there's just a little bit of a chance that you can be hitting the focus ring too. But anyways, I'm going to give that a little bit of a test over the next couple weeks here. Nikon Canada was so generous to loan this out to me. And in particular, I asked for it, requested that lens because I've got an assignment coming up that I wanted to share with you too. And that's also working with the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society Saskatchewan chapter. And I'm going to get a chance to have an up-close personal encounter with the Sturgeon River Plains bison herd. That's right, there are plains bison here in Saskatchewan, and there's a herd just outside of Prince Albert National Park, the southwest corner of the park down there. And evidently they're the only herd in the province here anyways that is in their original native habitat, their landscape. and they're kind of facing a little bit of an existential threat where their numbers have been plummeting over recent years, and they're potentially facing extirpation or that local extinction. So CPAWS is working to try to protect that herd, and more importantly, perhaps, or more importantly, definitely, is the relationship with that herd and the local First Nations too. And there's an Indigenous Guardians program that was just launched that CPAWS has helped implement. And I'm really excited to hopefully have a chance to meet and walk on the land and get to see the bison alongside the Guardians as they go about their work there and trying to track and understand and protect that herd as well too. So that's it. That's a little bit of an upcoming project over the next couple of weeks here. It's going to be interesting, a little bit of backcountry winter camping in Saskatchewan. So hopefully I'll stay warm out there, but really want to put that 302.8 through its paces, and look forward to sharing some images and that full review of the lens with you later. Stay tuned at shuttermuse.com as well too. And just, again, it's really been great to find that organization in CPAWS to partner with, to collaborate with. And one more pitch for my 2020 Saskatchewan Wild calendar. Please go check that out, mattjakes.com, and check out the shop button, or also have a link down below. I've got some great images showing the wild and the wilderness in Saskatchewan year-round, whether you're from Saskatchewan or just want a slice of the prairies. To hang on your wall there. This is potentially a great gift idea for the holiday season coming up, and your gift goes to help make a difference for the wild and the wilderness here in Saskatchewan. So if you do pick one up, thank you very much. You're making a difference. And I think that's it for now. Hopefully there wasn't too much lag between the audio and the video. This is my first time really doing this, and let's just say over and out. If this